Okay, I think we're live on all platforms. It looks good. Tim, if I know you're quiet for now, but if you see any technical problems, go ahead and chime in and let me know. But yeah, hello everybody. Welcome to my special stream. You'll notice there's no fancy music. There's no higher production value. It's bare bones. And that's because this is not a show I was intending to do tonight. But my friend Frank from Quite Frankly is here as he usually would be on his first appearance of the month, first Wednesday of the month. So Frank, thank you for gracing us.
And hey, man, I am happy to be here.
QuiteFrankly.tv for all things Quite Frankly. And hey, if ever I needed a beer, today is a day that I needed a beer. And yes, it's a high life. Please, beer snobs, don't shame me. I've graduated from Coors Light that I used to drink yesteryear. Anyway, okay. Obviously, I had a whole show planned today that we were going to talk about other items in the news until indirectly I became the news.
Yeah, man.
About noon today. I'm sitting down. I'm texting Frank earlier, like, hey, I want to talk about this and that. I'll see you then. And then I start getting emails from reporters. Hey, this indictment just dropped. Do you have commentary on that? And I'm, wow, that's very interesting. I had not planned on that.
They must love my show.
Well, everybody on Twitter is correctly joking. Hey, congratulations, Matt. You finally got your hit piece. You finally made it. Not really, though. Get a load of this. Like, look at the disrespect, Frank. You pull up an article, like here's Daily Dot covering it. We're all Russian assets, of course.
Of course.
But
do they have your eyes like whited out?
No, that was kind of stylized by the Tenet team. Like they kind of made a stylized photo edits when they did the promos.
Oh, okay.
So we kind of look like White Walkery, you know. Yes. That's to symbolize that we're zombies for Putin. Actually,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there's coverage here. Oh, there are a bunch of Russian stooges. There are a bunch of Russian assets. Maybe unwittingly, we'll get into that. But look at the disrespect. A media startup from reactionary luminaries such as Tim Pool, Benny Johnson, Dave Rubin, Lawrence. Dave Rubin's not even on it anymore. Hasn't been there for months.
You're not. I gotta say,
you got to scroll down and down, and later, only like paragraphs down. Am I even the disrespect, man? That's my main gripe out of all of this.
That's the first time I actually saw your name in any of the articles because I was pining through quite a few of them.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I'm not one of 100. I'm one of 6. And at least I got my photo front and center. That's very nice of them.
Yeah, it almost makes you look the most important. Like you're the main Nazi.
Okay,
so like you are in the middle.
Hit piece, at least adjacent. That's a career accomplishment for me, of course. But career accomplishment number 2, I can confirm to you, Frank, that just before live, I received an email from the FBI asking for a voluntary interview from me because they believe that I'm the victim of a crime. The FBI wants to talk to me. How I handle that, I will decide at a later time. But I can confirm right now that the FBI is wishing to speak to me about this matter. So I just want to go through my perspective on all of this, explain how I experienced all of this, what's going to happen next. And really, this stream is about making sure that my core audience understands where I'm coming from and that people don't feel like I am some trickster or some person who was deceiving them or something, or that I have been tricked or duped or something like that. What matters to me most is that the people who listen to me trust that what I say, it's my own words, that I'm writing it, that I'm speaking it, that I'm not someone's mouthpiece. And fundamentally, those are the accusations here. And so I'm going to go through this, and I know this is not what we had planned on talking about, Frank, but I appreciate you coming by just to help me through it.
Hey, man,
anyway.
Listen. You're a friend, and I'm not going to leave your side at a moment in need. And with that being said, if the FBI contact me, I'll just tell them that you put me up to all of it.
Well, as Frank can tell you, and I've hosted you on what was my Wednesday show on Tenet Media probably 4 times now. Would have been on there tonight. At no point was Frank ever directed to repeat only Russian talking points or something like that. That is the allegation, I suppose. But Frank, I'm going to go through this, and obviously I intend this to be somewhat conversational. So please do chime in at any point with your thoughts or any questions you have about how this all developed. I don't know how long this is going to go. Also, to the extent you want to send them, I will take super chats, and Tim and I will read through those when we're finished up tonight too. But that's going to be it. I'm not going to cover news stories otherwise because this is now such a big deal that obviously it has to be addressed. Now, let me just start with how all of this started. And I already described this on my own channel last November when I agreed to sign on to Tenet Media. The way it happened was last late June, early July, my friend who I've known for a long time professionally and personally, Lauren Chen, came to me and said, I've got a new media startup. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm interested in your content. I'd like to host it. Could we work out an agreement for that to happen? I said, sure, let's talk about it. And over the course of a few weeks, we came to an agreement. Obviously important to me, and I hope anybody in this audience would trust and know. First and foremost to me, before anything, was, are you going to police what I say? Now, before we talk about anything else, are you going to police what I say? No, you're going to retain full editorial control. Not only that, you can leave when if it doesn't work out for you, you can leave. All the terms were great, and I would have never agreed to anything otherwise. If they said, we want you to come onto this platform, and we want you to say A, B, and C, and not say X, Y, and Z. Thank you for your interest, but I'm out. That would have been the answer.
Let me interject and ask you a question, because I've only been, on maybe 3 or 4 episodes, that 20 to 30 minute segment on the first Wednesdays. So I've never been really around for what happens afterwards. Are there commercial spots? Did you ever have to read a plug or anything like that? When
I had a conversation with Lauren and Liam, her husband, they're running the company, there was discussion potentially of future advertisement spots like that, but it never happened. It never materialized. So no, I read super chats at the end of the show. There are ads played on YouTube like any other channel or Rumble, but there were no direct ad reads in that way.
Those ads played on YouTube afterwards, that's generated by the platform, by YouTube itself?
Yeah, YouTube ads like any other channel.
Okay. So then there's that.
So number one, I never would have agreed to anything if anybody ever gave me a whiff of telling me what to say or what not to say. It never happened. If you don't believe me, to the extent that my credibility or my reputation may be damaged on that front, number one, compare my content. Go back to the material I was making before I moved it over to Tenet. Look at the videos I've made on Tenet. Compare them. Same with my streams. Is there anything different at all? Have I suddenly changed my opinion inexplicably in a pro-Putin way or something like that? Point one, there was no influence exerted over me in that way. There's no change in my perspective or the nature of my content. Number two, where's the DOJ's evidence that influence was exerted over me? You won't find that in the indictment. I'll get to some of those details in a moment because it doesn't exist. It never happened. They clearly had spies in our Discord server. I'm in the Tenet Discord server, but I don't think it was subpoenaed, and I never received any kind of warrants or anything like that. So clearly they're looking at everyone's communication. Where's the mess? Why can't they produce the message that says, they said to Matt, you will promote Russia's interest in the Ukraine war? And Matt said, yes, sir. That it never happened.
Can you find focus for me, at least, on, because I've read a couple articles, and it's a lot of it is just, between the editorializing of Merrick Garland, everybody else talking about essentially saying Donald Trump winning is Putin's nominee.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is Putin's nominee. If he wins, so essentially anybody who is pro Donald Trump and skeptical of this war in Ukraine that has gone on forever, that hundreds of thousands have lost their lives needlessly, then you are automatically pro-Putin and all that
That's
shit.
The only thing I can discern is that if I'm supposedly a Russian asset, it was determined that what everyone else would call insufferable fence-sitting nonsense, what polite people would call constitutional conservatism / libertarianism, of a generally pro-Trump perspective, though of course I criticize him on things that I think he's wrong about all the time. So if that was acquired for the purpose of helping Vladimir Putin, it's very bizarre that somebody could go do an accounting of all the material I've ever created for Tenet Media. I bet the Ukraine war maybe never even mentioned, but if mentioned, very briefly, 0.1%. Talking about things that are in Russia's interest, supposedly. I guess if you think that pro-America is pro-Putin, and when I say that, I mean like core constitutional, foundational, Declaration of Independence type stuff. So, yeah, I guess if that aligns with Putin, then I've been had.
Can you tell me a little bit more about Lauren Chen and the money? Like as far as when she comes to you and says, all right, we're starting a new venture and all that stuff, and I want to get together some of my more high powered friends or whatever, so that there's a really nice bullpen here, and we can create a new sort of network.
Yeah.
Where does the like where does the money come from that has been traced to Russians? She's not Russian. Is she? I don't know anything about her. Where did this money come from?
That's a good transition point to get into the allegations. But I just want to emphasize that for people who, for whatever reason, might not believe me that I didn't have full editorial control of everything I said, consider the evidence. Okay, I'll leave that point there. You bring up the allegations and the nature of the indictment. Okay, so let's get into that. As far as I understand the indictment, and again, this is breaking to me at about noon today, so I've had time to go over it a little bit, but this is not an area of legal expertise for me, and all the appropriate qualifiers about how I'm not necessarily the guy most qualified to analyze this. But the allegations generally are this: that the source of the funding comes from two Russian nationals who are connected to RT, as in Russia Today, the Russian state media outlet that you'll see commonly. And Lauren Chen, I know that she's connected to RT too. It's not something that she and I have discussed, but she appears on RT and they have a relationship. Okay. The allegation is that these Russian nationals supposedly laundered money to conceal payments to the company that is Tenet Media for the purpose of a Russian propaganda operation or some kind of Russian lobbying. So the crimes alleged, number one, would be money laundering in that pursuit, and number two would be failing to register as foreign agents. Okay, I can't tell you about how that money moved. That's not my area of expertise. Okay, I have a relationship with Lauren and Liam and Tenet. As far as where their business gets its money, that is not my day-to-day operation. I provide content for them under the terms of a contract, and as long as they don't tell me what to do, we see eye to eye. So I can't speak to the accuracy of that.
I don't want to make you disparage anyone at Tenet, or especially if you're personal friends, but have you, over the last few hours, suspected this could have been a setup the entire time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It depends on who you're saying. Who's the setup? Do I think that people in the operation are secret setup people? No, that's not what I mean. Let me be very clear. But do I think that there are potentially political motivations at play here? Of course. It's still unclear, and that's the other part of the allegation here. Let me grab that screenshot. I can't remember exactly. Well, here it is. Let me pull this up. So the allegation is not just that Russian operatives were taking this money from the Russian government through RT, laundering it, and sending it to Tenet Media to conceal it for the purposes of Russian propaganda. Again, very hard for me to see how the influence was ever achieved if you can't demonstrate to me what the message actually was that was the supposed influence or the propaganda. But the allegation here is that there was some level of deception between Liam and Lauren, the founders of the company, and the commentators that they contracted. They're referencing commentator 1 and 2. That is not me. And that's not me because they reference the subscriber counts of those commentators. That ain't me, and I can tell you from my own personal experience that neither of them ever said anything deceptive. They never lied to me. They never made commitments to me that they didn't honor. They never told me what to say. There's no deception that they're alleging here. From my experience, though, again, they're not saying that I'm the party who was deceived. The only time that I come up in the indictment is when I'm referenced as commentator 6. Again, the order of priority here. The disrespect, Frank.
Yeah,
commentator 6.
Low man on the totem pole.
Someday I'll get the respect I deserve. That day is not today, clearly. But commentator 6, me, posted a video announcing the launch of the company. Again, this is November last year. In the video, he said this is a project of founder 1 and 2, Lauren and Liam, who are trying to build a new platform for independent media. Why is that included in the indictment? I don't know. That's true. I did say that. What relevance is that to anything? But that is the only time that I am referenced in the indictment itself. And I will emphasize on the indictment here, this is an indictment. What is an indictment? It is an allegation. This is not a conviction, and nobody else is accused of a crime at this point. Not me, not anybody who was making content for Tenet, not Lauren and Liam running the company, or any of the employees that they hired to help them. So if this was some big propaganda op phenomenally bad job. The nature of the crime alleged here is not just that money was moved in ways that the feds don't like. It's that money was moved in ways that the feds don't like in pursuit of an influence campaign. But I need to see, not just in my own personal experience where it didn't happen, but in their evidence that they supposedly have, where the influence was present. Where did person A tell person B, you will say this on behalf of, even if they're concealing that it's some Russian government, please say this and not that. Where did that happen? They have no evidence of that.
Well, the first things first, obviously this is going to get all litigated and all that. So I guess that the conversations that are of real merit are still to come. But you know that as far as a timing thing goes and everything else, this is really you're going to get very, very few substantive conversations with people on the internet. This is to trigger tankies into just Russia, right wing, Putin, Ukraine, Trump. It's a daisy chain of just low. I don't know. It's just empty calorie nonsense for people who are just being activated politically right now, 2 months before an election. So, obviously you got some stuff to deal with. I don't think it's going to be in the end. I don't think it's going to be really anything other than just a social media black eye at such an opportune time during the election year. But I will say this: this is for me, just being on the outside looking into this. It's just another big reminder to me. Don't join clubs. Don't join networks, no matter who the hell it is. Ladies and gentlemen, just joining the Knights of Columbus is fine. But in media, you don't need networks. You don't need record labels anymore. And this is just why you just can't predict something like this from happening.
At the same time, though, when we all stay apart, the easier we are to axe. A part of what was attractive to me about this, and I will emphasize in all of my interactions, everybody at Tenet has been completely supportive of me. They've done what they said they were going to do. They've never exerted any kind of unfair influence over me. So the two things I want people to take away from this are, number one, I want you to know that you can trust me and that everything I'm saying is authentically mine. But number two, I don't want to be interpreted as making any sort of accusation against them or disparaging them in any way. Not because there's like some contractual entanglement, because they gave me a good opportunity and believed in me, and if it doesn't work out, that's fine. You go back to the drawing board, you start again. But part of what was attractive to me about this was, okay, we know, ironically, I was like, we know what's going to happen in 2024. The axes are going to be swinging. It's coming. So from my perspective, it's like, of course, why don't this opportunity has been presented to me to find a home for my stuff with some good upside, and through an organization or an alliance of content creators, potentially more security from the swinging axes. Obviously now, I don't know if it's going to work out that way. And of course, the future is very murky here. So I don't blame you for that takeaway at all. It's just, what a black pill. What discouragement,
I know. But, at the same time, it is a black pill because, even if you have friends and you really do believe in their good intentions, that just went south, or again, the trail of money, I still don't understand there. I mean, somewhere those good intentions were, there was a poison pill that was put in there somewhere. And then the real question is, when was it found? When was it held? It was held on to for this very moment. And it's coming a week after the whole Telegram thing. So it definitely is being, at least in a media way, packaged about it's a cautionary tale about independent media, because, the corporate media is it's just so devoid of any kind of trust and integrity. There's that. So, like I said before, I don't mean to try to encourage you to say anything, bad about a friend of yours or anything like that.
Yeah.
But to me, this is one of those things where it's like, you just got to look out for yourself going forward.
And that obviously I'm balancing two things here. I'm balancing the preservation of my own integrity and what I hope is trust that I've earned with people, with honesty about what's going on here, and of course, respect for people who gave me an opportunity. I also want to say that because I was put in such a weird bind, today where it's like, okay, I prepped a show, but it's going to be kind of weird if I just go do a show without talking about this or gloss over it and then discuss all the other things we're going to talk about. So I have to address this. I don't want to blindside Tenet, who's been great to me. So I let their people know today, like, listen, I'm going to have to talk about this, and I'm going to do this honestly, and I just want you aware of that. Nobody at Tenet was like, no, stop, don't do that. Don't, shut up. They said, we understand. Absolutely. You should be speaking freely. You should speak on your own behalf. And for them to offer me that grace in this circumstance, I appreciate hugely. That is a huge gesture of honesty and respect for me. They did tell me I have to praise Putin 5 times if I wanted to have that freedom. Again, if this was like some sort of secret op to get me to say things, why were they gracious with me? Why were they understanding with me? Why am I here doing this stream right now? I know people were questioning, well, why don't you do the show on Tenet's channels? I could have sent it there if I wanted to. There's no reason I couldn't. The reason I chose not to is because I think it presents a potential conflict of interest, that if I'm there on their properties, that people would think, oh, he's just saying this because he's over there on their place and they're making him say that. No,
not only that, Matt, but just to be totally forthright with you, but I'm glad that you did this on your own personal channels over here, because at least on YouTube, whenever we were live whenever I would come on those first Wednesdays of the month, what was it, the last 3 or 4 months? Whenever I would come on, you would top out at maybe 300 live viewers.
Yeah, the numbers were not awesome.
Your Sunday night show with Blonde, you're pulling in many thousands, and that Sunday night show has become an institution for people. Yeah. So to even say that there was, I'm happy that you just went live on your own channels just so you can talk to more people.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously, I think there's you'd like to have performance be as high as possible, but I can't take my existing audience and you must come over and watch this. I can only make the best product that I can and hope that they will. But if for whatever reason they don't want to, that's okay. And if people didn't like that product as much, either because they felt like I didn't do a good job or because they were suspicious of the host of the content, okay, you're entitled to that. I'm not trying to drag you around. I'm trying to take an opportunity that's available to me to build something new. And hey, I think that I was able to achieve that. And but I'll have to do it again. I don't know how this is going to be resolved, but I'll have to figure something out, So yeah, I mean, that's the other thing about this. Like, if this is some massive propaganda operation, yeah, I don't have delusions about performance or something like that. I don't have like, I understand that that the performance of my Sunday stream exceeded the performance of my show on Wednesday. If this is some massive propaganda op, why wouldn't they just like hijack that Sunday show? Why wouldn't, I don't know. Like, again, this was not the most influential product on the internet. So why?
And not only that, well, like you said before, just what's everybody talking about? It doesn't, I don't watch, aside from the clips of Benny Johnson and Tim Pool that I come across inadvertently on Twitter and all that stuff. You're the only real person that had a show with Tenet that I have any real ongoing relationship with, and especially like as far as the time that we've spent on air together. We're friends off air as well, but we've spent quite a good amount of hours on air, and your approach to all subject matter, whether it be on your show, you on my show, your approach to your Sunday night show was identical to the way that you did all the bits that I did with you on the Wednesday night gig. So I just think of how convenient you have 5 or 6 really recognizable names in alternative media who on their own do so far better than what they were getting on Tenet exclusively, are now just lumped in with this ghostly $10 million of Russian rubles, and it's just now an indictment again of new media, which of course follows that daisy chain of of indictments right up the ladder again. It's just and if Trump wins, it's Putin's will. Anybody who likes Trump is
it's all Tenet Media's accomplishment. They did it. They put him in the White House. I can't wait for that. Then maybe I'll get the credit I deserve.
Yep, I'm telling you, the 6 on their own, and I don't even know who that other guy with the beard is. I know
Taylor Hansen. Taylor Hansen does really good work, man. Taylor Hansen was there when Ashley Babbitt got shot. He has some of the famous footage of that incident. And he does really good on-scene reporting, and I have a lot of respect for him. I've gotten to know him through this project. And again, Taylor is a very honest dude and a hard worker, and I've seen it with my own 2 eyes in person. That guy is not some foreign asset, wittingly or unwittingly. And I want to emphasize that too, Frank, because part of what doesn't make sense here is, and this is Daily Dot's characterization. To be fair, this is not the language from the indictment, but the Daily Dot's characterization is that pro-Trump commentators, myself included, may have been unwittingly duped. Okay, I mean, to the extent that maybe people were told premise A and when they were negotiating their contracts, and premise B turned out to be true, I suppose that could be the case. I don't know. I was not duped, wittingly or unwittingly. Everyone's been honest with me.
But see, that,
as far as I'm aware,
right there, they may have been unwittingly duped. And the more that you look into this, even on a surface level, you say, okay, well, obviously, if you know anything about these people, and like I said, the one who I'm most have a connection with is you. If they've been unwittingly duped, you would know if they were wittingly duped or something like that, if there's something different about them on Tenet than anywhere else in their career, which that's not the case. So what are they duped into doing? Just doing what they do anywhere else on a smaller platform and then how is that an influence operation? How is that operation more influential than what they're doing without Tenet even arriving at their doorstep in 2023?
Correct. How am I unwittingly duped into saying someone else's words when I wrote every one of them?
It's all triggers for tankies. It's all tanky triggers. That's all it is. People on the internet who are actively who are swallowing the Kamala Harris horse shit and saying that it's fucking Skittles. They need something right now, and that's just it. There's not a conversation at the end of this shitty rainbow here. Somebody out there just wants to make sure that people have very tightly packaged things to throw at people that they've been taught to hate, and now you are a Putin puppet. That's it.
Well, I thank you for the hit piece insult. I hope someone writes that. I actually received a few emails from reporters at very credible publications. I've received. That's how I learned of this today. Was inquiry, people trying to get comment from me, which I've provided none, and I won't be providing any. But I have it on good authority that there are reporters from respected institutions tuning into this very stream to get the dirt. So if you're a reporter at any of these very respected institutions, please write exactly what Frank said. Headline: Matt Christiansen, Russian puppet, admits to it on stream. Please, it would mean so much to my career. I've been longing for this day forever. I'm begging.
What I would say is just go and watch any of your Wednesday, or how many days a week did you do that for Tenet?
I have done it once every week since November of last year. So tonight's show would have been the 41st episode.
Okay. And I've been on 4 episodes?
Yeah, something like that.
Because I feel like we started in
May
or July.
May 1st, the first Wednesday in May. Yeah.
Yeah. It was I remember it was like July 3rd or something like that. That was fun. The night before 4th of July. All I would say is watch the Sunday night show and then watch any of those other shows with me or without me, and find the undue influence. And tell me why they would need a smaller channel of this new Tenet thing to get people to think like Vladimir Putin. Then that would be more effective than Matt's Sunday night show with the firebrand blonde.
And ironically, we end up talking this is the irony of it. My co-host Blonde, I don't think she would have any problem with me referencing this. Blonde is unironically kind of in the Putin fan club. So she appreciates his shirtless horse rides and things like that. So we've had, in joking contexts, because we so rarely discuss Russia-Ukraine anymore. Do I have questions about the Russia-Ukraine war? To the extent my country's being ripped off for it, sure. But I almost never discuss it. If anything, we've discussed it more on my Sunday show, and Blonde has way more appreciative things to say about Putin than I ever have. So the supposed uncompromised asset of mine, the Sunday show, you're going to find way more like Putin praise on that production than you ever will on mine. The irony that was the thing that was the supposed compromised asset. And another thing I want to emphasize, you mentioned the danger of associations and clubs and independent media projects that involve multiple people, whatever the organization is. Again, I will emphasize there are records of private messages and or Discord communication in that indictment. Again, I'm not indicted. As far as I know, I was not a party to the investigation in any criminal sense. But how did those communications get recovered? Because I was never subpoenaed for any information. I don't think there was any warrant issued for that. Are we looking because it was foreign influence or something? Is this like some FISA thing, or is this some? I don't know. But how did they get those communication records from the Discord server?
I don't know.
Interesting. I would like to know. And just again, if they want to get your messages, they have their ways. That is the lesson here. And I'm not afraid of that. I've never said anything in that Discord server that I wouldn't be fully comfortable with published right now. It's all professional. It's all, hey, I'm making a video about this. I need a thumbnail for that. Coming right up, Just
wait, man. That's all you got to do is I understand the need to come out and say something. And I think everything you commented on tonight is just within the bounds of what's already been published. And, I understand. I would want to get live with my audience too, and just kind of circle the wagons and feel a little bit of normalcy and make some sense of this, because hell, I can just imagine the kind of anxiety you've been trying to suppress all day.
Oh, it's very stressful. And I'll talk about this more on my own. And I mean, let's put it this way. Like, let's say, obviously this has implications for my family, my business, all of that. If you, and I haven't been fired or anything like that, but this is what's going to happen here is a big question mark. So hypothetically, let's say I got fired today and I've got my wife and kids and I got my house and I got everything I need to take care of. Yeah. I mean, there are serious financial concerns for my family that I have to manage on top of my reputation being smeared, at least indirectly, if they could even name me, if they had the respect to do it. I've got that to worry about. And so I'll have to take care of that. But imagine that you're relieved from your job. And I made the choice to do this. I'm not a victim in that way or something, but my own trust with my audience is of such importance to me that I wouldn't have it any other way. Then you got to go get on a stream and discuss with however many people want to listen. Yeah, this is quite sketchy and quite everything about my future, including potentially the welfare of my family, is at stake. That's not how I expected today to go when I woke up. I prepped a different show. So, I don't want to, I understand it's a tough time for everybody, okay? Like, it's a rough economy out there. I'm not saying it's some emergency and I'm going to be, I don't even have a constitutional right on the West Coast, or actually we're in the Ninth Circuit too. I used to have a constitutional right around here to live on the sidewalk if I wanted to. Now I can't even exercise that. But no, am I saying that I'm going to be like destitute, or I'm not quitting, okay? I have my own personal concerns, but I'm not quitting. And I want to emphasize the future for me is unclear right now. I don't know what's going to happen with Tenet Media. I don't know what's going to happen with my relationship with Tenet Media. Not because I have any hostility or anything I just don't know what their decisions are going to be, and I have to wait for them to make those decisions. I am telling everyone who likes to listen to me, I'm going to keep making videos. I'm going to keep making streams. All I want to do is talk about things that I think are important to the country and be able to take care of my family while I do it. And one way or another, I will find a way to do that, or I will end up living in a cardboard box trying. But it's too important to me to just hide or quit, or like, oh, this looks sketchy. I'm gonna dip off the internet for a week or something like that. And that was kind of the difficult spot too. It's like, I have to talk. I can't do a stream where I don't talk about this. I have the option of just canceling the stream, but boy, does that look sketchy if I just choose to disappear. I don't want to do that. So
Honestly, I think under the circumstances, you did everything that you can, and I certainly don't expect somebody like you or any of the others, even though I don't know them personally. Um, I have some past with Tim, but it's not like we're like buddies. But I don't. Why would anybody stop? I'd like to see. Obviously, I'm just going to be watching how all this plays out because there's still a lot of questions. I want to see how it all the dots are connected and who took from what, and that the money's the most interesting thing to me because it's a small amount of compared to what is being raised and spent and moved around and laundered over the course of this election season alone. This is almost like talking about the $100,000 that some Russian company bought on Facebook during 2016 that they based all of their interference
yeah,
claims on. $10 million on elections that cost billions is just hilarious. It's hilarious. So, but one way or another, it's the basis of a very significant story that the DOJ put their stamp on and trotted out there in the beginning of September of 2024. I'm interested as anybody else is to see where this all goes. For somebody who's not personally involved, it's all about timing and it's all about rhetoric and it's about headlines for me and pattern recognition in the media and who the media works for. That's what it is for me. For you, I understand it's a lot deeper than that. It's familial considerations. It's everything else. But you have a really good thing with your audience. You have a great core, and you're going to be able to work. And this too shall pass. And it's going to be a good thing to have a little bit more sunlight put on it because everybody's got questions that we just don't have answers to right now.
of
But
course.
but as I wind down because I do have to take
Yeah,
off,
yeah.
we'll
I
say this
understand.
again.
Yeah.
Just give yourself over to your audience, build your brand. I would just say that anybody out there, if you like somebody like Matt, support them directly. Because I think that the waters that we are sailing right now, no matter how good your relationships are with people at Tenet and where it all went wrong and how it how it was the well was poisoned somewhere along the line, we are in an area of time now where if you have a good product and you know how to brand yourself well and you work consistently, then you really should just dedicate yourself to independence. We don't need networks. We don't need. It's too easy to attack groups of people at once. If you all get together in a network, be an individual. You don't need record labels anymore. If you're a musician, just be crafty and be committed to your craft. And I think you're gonna do fine.
Well,
In the
Dan, I was
meantime,
going to ask if, quite frankly, had any job openings or even internships because I'm on the market. No, I'm just kidding.
oh, I'm gonna I told you
Yeah.
I'm opening up a string of tanning salons.
Oh, okay. Well,
If you want to
we can talk
you want to
about that.
manage
No,
you manage one of my tanning salons, please.
um, uh, I appreciate that so much. Of course, quite frankly.tv. If you like Frank and you want to support Frank, you should do that too. And I will tell you just in closing, thank you for stopping by. It was a huge, as soon as I got this news and I knew I wasn't going to be able to do the show that I'd planned, I called Frank to say, hey man, this is going on. It's not the show that we expected to do, but just for my own sanity, I would really appreciate it if you could still come by just because it's hard enough to do this with a friend to talk about it with. Doing it on my own just would have been much more stressful. And so I appreciate you stepping up, not only in your professional capacity, but just as a friend this evening. And I also appreciate the questions that you had to offer because I'm not trying to hide things here. Inquiring minds want to know. That's fair. I'm an inquiring mind myself to the extent there are pieces of the allegations that I just don't have information on.
Yeah.
So just thank you, man. I really appreciate it. And I think you made the day and the evening a lot easier for me.
Well, take it easy, be easy, and I would say aside, and you got a friend in me and the whole crew over here, and I would just say from here on in, from a self-preservation standpoint, there's a lot of moving parts, and like you said, there's a lot of questions without answers. But aside from your published involvement as just a guy who goes live on Wednesday nights and talks about the same exact things with the same kind of candor that you have anywhere else on or off Tenet. Maybe just let the process
Of course.
work itself out. And if you do answer that email and do sit down with the feds, which I would be inclined to sit down with them, but don't do it without a lawyer. Don't do anything without a lawyer, and just keep it.
That's the question.
That's it.
There
Never,
are, yeah,
never ever talk without a lawyer.
yeah. Well, I will have to deliberate on that and consider my options. But listen, Frank, I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure as always. Regardless of whatever happens here, I appreciate everything you've done for me and my show, and I know that we'll find a way to work together regardless of the outcome going forward. So thank you much, man.
Have a good one, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, there he goes. Tim, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I've got that OnlyFans account set up for you, so we can discuss. So sorry, hang on. Are we still on air?
Man, yeah, it's rough times.
Oh,
rough
sorry.
Yeah.
I gave away something that's going to be announced soon, guys. Sorry about that.
Well, I have bad news. You're fired from my OnlyFans operation.
Damn
it. Okay. I actually don't have any more to say about this. I feel like I've spoken about it to my satisfaction and to my knowledge. So with that, I'm just going to open it up to Super Chat. And I will say in a qualifier about Super Chat, the one thing I'm happy to respond to questions about what's happened here. The one thing I won't do for reasons personal and contractual, I'm not going to read chats that are disparaging to Tenet or Lauren or Liam or any of them. I don't have information to make allegations against them. I don't want to be unfair to them. So I'm not trying to do a disservice to the listener. Again, questions of fact, totally fair game. I just don't want this to turn into like some kind of insult operation or something like that. I want to be respectful of them because they've been honest with me and they've given me a great opportunity. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But Tim, do we have chats we might entertain?
Yeah, we have a lot. Damn it! Why did YouTube just freak out and not? Let's start with the Rumble ones. YouTube is okay. I'm about to see if YouTube's going to reload for me. So hang on. Let's move this over here. We're on your channel. I'm going to swear up a storm. You fucking pity sponge. What the fuck? I keep wanting to hate you and bad things happen to you. Fine. Both you. So I don't know if I can say the F word or if that's
sponge. I don't care about vulgarities. Again, I just don't want this to turn into like a smear hour or something like that.
Oh, this isn't a smear necessarily. Just apologize for disrespecting the great Kamala with your DNC ass licking, which is kind of weird because that's sort of the opposite of what the allegation is.
I guess, but it probably is. Like I can't speak to the specific allegations about the movement of money and all that. That's not something I have knowledge about. I just don't know. But the idea that this exists in premise as a propaganda arm is just laughable. If anything, this is probably a propaganda op of the Democrat Power Center. In what way? I don't know. I can't tell you. I think it's more plausible than it's some Putin propaganda op that I've been duped into.
Yeah. And by the way, the article you read, I don't really get it. And someone gave an explanation of what they think this means, but how can you be willingly duped?
Unfairly, a fair question too. Yeah, a fair question on that. Implicit in the concept of duping is unwittingly. You're right. Yeah. There is no wittingly duped. It's kind of redundant in that way.
Well, someone said, like, if you gave money to someone as a drug addict, thinking they won't buy it, it's like, well, no, you always do that knowing there's a chance they're going to do it. You're not duped. You're still, Anyway, Long Dong John, this is pretty fair advice. I think a lot of people are going to be saying, never speak with the cops without legal representation present, especially the feds.
Yeah, I will just leave it at that. I won't speak to my specific intentions because I don't even know if that's wise. But I'm treating that decision very carefully, and I appreciate the consideration on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally within the Miranda rights. The first thing they say is you have the right to remain silent. They're literally telling you have the right to just not say anything. So
yeah. Are you over on Rumble, by the way? Is that where you're getting these chats?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't have that open. Yeah.
Bane Koof. I don't know if I can. That's not Tenet related specifically, but it is about Lauren. I might have to skip that one, dude.
Thank you, Bane Coof. I just don't want to be unfair to people who have been nothing but fair to me. And if it comes out that they did something wrong or whatever, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I can tell you from personal experience that she and her husband have been nothing but excellent to me and courteous to me and honest to me. And you're free to believe the allegations if you like. I'm not saying you shouldn't or you can't or what. I'm just telling you that in my own experience, it's totally contrary to what I've experienced. And I just, I'm going to pass on those. But I certainly appreciate your support for the show.
This one isn't necessarily about the specific allegations. It's more about he doesn't agree with some of the other opinions she has. So he's always been a bit skeptical of it.
Oh, okay. So, well, that's fine. Yeah. I mean, obviously, people are skeptical of my opinions, and you should be. The point is not like, listen to what I say because I speak on behalf of Putin. Obviously, challenge me. And I've always enjoyed interaction with my audience. And the whole point of this stream is accountability to my audience and to show you that I'm not trying to hide anything. This is news to me, too. So let's work through it.
From Individual Gang, the U.S. government is the most corrupt government in the world. Russia gives money to Americans. U.S. government steals money from Americans.
Yeah, that's pretty much. That's pretty. Do they are they implicated in the tax money that they've collected based on this business arrangement? I don't know. Are they going to be giving that back to Putin? We'll see how that goes.
It's also weird how much trouble people are potentially getting in for other countries interfering with U.S. elections. What's going on with you guys funding Ukraine right now and Russia and their fight for Russia and stuff? I mean, it does seem a bit rich. America does involve itself in a lot of stuff, really. So, will you consider?
Yeah, I'm sure we don't do any of our own propaganda ops around the globe at all. We don't do that.
Will you consider Pilled? I don't know what that is. Do you think it would follow you? Can you bring the Matt and Blonde show too?
Pilled is a streaming platform. In fact, I think Frank might use it. I would ask him about it if he was still here. But
okay,
I don't know much about it. Would I consider hosting my show on really any place that'll have it? Yeah, generally. I mean, I want the show to be available where people want to listen to it. So I'm open to it. I can't commit to anything right now because, again, like what is going to be the future of my videos and at least Wednesday stream going forward? I don't know. Literally tomorrow I'm going to sit down and evaluate what the hell I'm supposed to do here and make a plan. I don't know what that is right now. Excuse me. I will tell you the Sunday show will not be changed in any way. The Sunday show 100% will carry on exactly as it is. And I would expect sooner rather than later my short videos will return too. I don't know where I don't know where that's going to be right now, but I intend to keep making those. I'm not just going to quit. And then the question is, what happens with what I was doing on Wednesday? How's that? I don't know. I don't know is the answer, and I will put that information out there as soon as I make some decisions.
I feel like this one needs a terrible Russian accent. Comrade Matvey, I gift you 875 rubles for your service to Mother Russia.
Yeah, thank you. I need all the rubles I can get now. So I appreciate it.
In all seriousness, as a long-time viewer, I know you haven't changed your content, rather, and it sucks you got caught up in this mess. Yeah, I mean, I'm not happy about it, but I don't know how true the allegations are or not, and there are a lot of people caught up in it. And if this is a made-up bullshit nonsense story that was done for political reasons, man, I feel awful for Lauren and Liam and everybody else caught up who's working with them too. It's just terrible. In the same way, I say that it puts my own business realities in jeopardy or question. I mean, that's true for a lot of people. There's a lot of that going on. Like, okay, how is this resolved? Because I made plans according to, business model A, B, and C, and now that's not possible anymore. That all gets upended. But all you can do is persevere. So this is not a poor me story. This is here's another obstacle. Here's another hurdle thrown up in the way. You're going to have to jump this one too. Good luck. But such is, not just such is any time you're creating internet content in today's internet, such as most jobs for most people. So I absolutely don't want to come off as a complainer or something. I understand. The reason I want to find a way to keep doing what I'm doing is because I love it so much. And I know how fortunate I am to be able to sit at this stupid desk and talk about my opinions
about what's going on in the world and call that a job or call that a career and even take care of my family for doing that. I'm not coal mining. I'm not, I'm not trying to lay railroad tracks or something like that. I'm not doing hard labor. I put everything I have into it to try to make an honest, informative, interesting, thought-provoking product. I work hard on it, don't get me wrong, but I also recognize how fortunate I am to be able to call what I do a career to provide for a family. And so the last thing that I want to come off tonight is like any kind of complainer. I think there's a lot of bullshit going on here, but you have my assurance. I will find a way. I will not sit in the corner and do some woe is me routine. I will find a way. In fact, I feel more motivated now than I did yesterday. So I'll figure it out.
That's very John Hammond of you. Life finds a way. Actually, no, that was Ian Malcolm.
That was, yeah, right. That was Malcolm. That was Jeff Goldblum's character. But thank you for the Jurassic Park reference.
Yeah. Well, I know it's one that you've actually seen. So from Hillbilly Deluxe, remember the process is the punishment.
Yeah, I actually don't know the reference, but I gather there's some wisdom there, I assume.
I think that's just a reference in general to the idea of, whether or not, for example, Trump's found guilty of his stuff, whether or not he's sent to jail, whether or not, the January 6th especially, whether they end up getting found not guilty, which they're not going to, but the idea being is having to go through the process is the punishment, regardless of what the outcome is.
Mm-hmm.
It is a phrase I have heard a lot. Maybe you've not come across it, but yeah.
News to me, but a lot of things are news to me right now.
Oh, fair enough. Fart with FYT, I assume that's supposed to be fuck YouTube.
I assume.
Apologies if I'm wrong on that fart with, but anyway. Individual gang again. If foreign interests want to support our side, then so be it.
Well, I guess the regulation on that, it's not that foreign interests can't under the law. And again, this is not my area of expertise, but my understanding is you have to register as a foreign agent, and that would be the nature of the allegation here. I'm not saying that the law was broken. I don't know. But to your point, like, should foreign interests have a say? I mean, I think in principle, obviously, American politics should be influenced and governed by Americans. I don't think I've violated that because everything I've ever said came from this brain right here. It didn't come from some foreign interest telling me to say something. But the legal regulation we've decided on is if you're going to do that, if you're going to have some sort of U.S. lobbying effort, you need to register as a foreign lobbyist. And whether or not that happened in this case, that's the matter of dispute.
Flick to the... Oh, damn it. Sorry, I just hit my Windows button. It just brought up something over the chats. Motor on. I'm not sure I agree with this. I think they're just lies. But anyway... MSNBC, ABC, CBS, NBC, and CNN are willingly duped. Indict them.
Willingly duped, right. Well, they're probably duped by state actors all the time. Not just duped is the wrong word. They are lapdogs for the United States federal government. They do the bidding of the federal government. So I know that's a legally different question from what we're talking about here. But if we're talking about doing the bidding of powerful people as a form of propaganda, which is the allegation, look no further than your mainstream publications in this country who have cozy relationships with the very institutions of power they're supposed to check. It's plainly obvious.
Well, even willingly duped, I don't know. Would you agree that that's an accurate or inaccurate term either way? Because I think the problem is they don't actually investigate stuff they're told quite often. So is it willingly duped, or is it just, I'm not even going to bother? So
I don't know. They take their directions is all I'm saying.
Fair enough. If they're going after people, sorry, this is from Fartwith again. If they're going after people like this, then they are far weaker than anyone thinks.
Yeah, fair point. Because again, I don't have delusions in thinking like, oh man, this operation was convincing the entire world to vote for Trump. Definitely the difference maker. Obviously, I want to make the most difference I can. I'm not doing this for no reason. But I also recognize the limitations of my own influence. I don't have delusions about that. So this is not, the idea that we're changing electoral outcomes is laughable.
Well, I do have to ask, I'm wondering, is that what he meant? I feel like what Fartwith actually means is the government themselves are far weaker than anyone thinks, and they have to go after people because
Well,
people
that's what
can
he's saying is
easily
like, yeah, they have to
influence
pick off. But that's what he's saying is you have to pick off something. They're not going after like the strongest institution power. The enemy that they're choosing is not the strongest actor they could choose. So
Yeah.
I guess that's the thinking.
Nike 7, you're giving them too much air, Matt. It is a DOJ that cannot be believed, I think he means. Just call it a lie.
It probably is. It probably is. But you know, I just want to the extent that I am indirectly implicated, I just want to be honest and straightforward about my experience.
It is something you've done for the whole time. I know there's been several times where you've come on air and gone, this is something that's going on behind the scenes. I just want to make sure everyone knows about it and stuff. So I know people do appreciate that. So, start with, again, 99% of big tech is extremely leftist. Privacy in the face of that is a myth.
Wait, sorry, one more time? I misunderstood that last part.
99% of big tech is extremely leftist. Privacy in the face of that is a myth.
Yeah. I mean, you could say it was foolish of me to have any expectation. Otherwise, I don't even know that I did. Obviously, I've never said anything. In general, I don't say things on the internet that are potentially implicating for that reason. But like I said, you know, to the extent that there are professional tasks accomplished through this Discord server, have I been in there? Yes. Have I ever seen anything to this effect? No. Have I ever said anything to this effect? No. Would I be embarrassed to have anything I've ever said in that server revealed publicly? No. Go ahead. It's going to be really boring for the most part. You can read through it, though.
Next one from Cave Toad. Both of you men look like this weighs on your soul. Do not let it. Keep your faith in Jesus and be strong. You are needed in the fight. Wise
words. And I can tell you that absolutely my Bible study will continue. The feds haven't implicated that yet. So, you know, that
you assume that for all you know, Robert might be the person that snitched on you. So.
Yeah, I don't know if Robert is a compromised asset or not, but the Bible study will continue as well. If you want information on my Bible study, there's a link to my Bible study on the homepage of my website, mattchristiansenmedia.com.
Yeah, it's sort of the attitude Rebecca Lavrenz, I think that's how you pronounce it, has had when you talked to her a couple of months ago. So
yeah.
Okay, so another one from GR. Matt, I came as soon as I heard you're a Chinese spy working in Governor DeSantis' office. You have something a mansion, like Lambo, and a Hawaiian vacation home.
Yeah, I guess I missed out on all that stuff, but that's okay. That's close enough.
That is a missed opportunity. You should have made the country's bid for your services.
I guess, yeah.
Get the highest rate, get the highest price.
Yeah.
Like 7. I heard there are pictures of Matt being on Russian hookers.
Yeah. Again, my future business plan up in the air. Maybe we'll go that route.
Again from GR, don't worry about this indictment. You'll get your hit piece one day. Soph did it already. Oh, wait, sorry.
What is Soph? It was a reference to Soph?
Yeah.
What happened to Soph? It's been so long.
I have no clue. I saw her.
Is she in jail for being a Russian asset?
I don't know, possibly. I can't remember how long ago it was. I'd have seen her.
It's been a long time.
A while ago. So, yeah. GR, you know me and my... Okay, slows I'm not going to read, guys. You know me and my
Why
army...
not? It's my channel,
particular...
but yeah, I get you. Go ahead.
You know me and my army of a particular racial demographic got you. Okay, it's just both sides of my family. It's still more than some small countries.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Regardless of whether you got me or not, I appreciate you tuning in and your support for the show. It's much appreciated.
Next from GR, I got a plan. Reboot the call-in show, stop your Chinese communist propaganda, bring back Blonde on Wednesday, and end the sausage party.
I can't speak to what I'm gonna do, but I can tell you there's always a path forward, and whatever it is, it will be pursued. I don't know what the future is going to look like, but I can tell you that my relationship with Blonde is not going anywhere. By the way, speaking of friends who have been great to me, Blonde's been great to me, and it's always nice to know that I have people I can rely on. Of course, I've got my family first and foremost, and even if things go completely haywire, I have a support structure, and I got good people in my life, so I'm not too worried about it. But I will tell you that that there's anytime a door closes, a new one opens, as the cliche goes. And if this door closes, again, I don't know if it will, but if it does, I'll make the best of a new opportunity. I promise you, I'll put everything I have into it. So I look forward to that.
Thought with, I don't know if this was supposed to be, I don't know if this one was supposed to be a follow-on from something previously. And it is a wholesome, valuable product. Good job. Keep it up. If you get metaphorically, is donkey punched, I don't know if that's considered offensive, but whatever. Then you're doing something right.
This is a metaphorical donkey punch. It is a punch from donkeys, is in the Democrat power structure, I believe. So we'll call it that.
And GR, I have no idea what this means. Congratulations, commenter number 6. You have a nickname for life. What do we call the others now?
Yeah, that's at least I got that, man.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, comment number 6. Oh, right. As in from
at least commentator 6 was mentioned, if not me. I'll take it, man. As you know, close is better than nothing at all. All right. Looks like we're good on Rumble then.
Looks like it for the moment.
Okay.
There's been a lot that have been coming in, so I have to.
Let's check in on YouTube. And I know, I mean, I'm going to hang out. I know you might have time limitations. If you need to take off, I'll finish up. But I want to emphasize everybody chatting here tonight. I really appreciate your support for my product. I appreciate you asking questions about this. I appreciate you. You know, it all just gives me a little bit of encouragement on a day where I definitely needed it. So, thank you guys for hanging out, supporting the stream, listening to me. Even if you don't believe me or you have questions about what I'm saying, at least you gave me the opportunity to give you my case. And I really appreciate that. So everybody who's hanging out and supporting the show, you are my faith in the future of this product. And I will not turn my back on you. I promise you that. So thank you for what you're doing.
Okay. Well, this one does mention Lauren, but it's more a comment on you. Lauren Chen gets indicted. Matt can't even get a hit piece while working on the same channel. It'll happen one day, bro.
To be clear, she has not been indicted. I don't know what's in the future, but she has not been indicted. So.
Oh, I've only read bits and pieces. Is it not specific? I thought the thing they released was an indictment. Are they not saying they've indicted her, though?
No, it's only two Russians. She's named as founder 1 or 2.
Okay, yeah. So the idea being
she's not indicted. She's not criminally charged.
Right. So the idea at the moment is she's implicated, but they haven't brought anything against her and Liam specifically.
Correct.
Okay, of course, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. It's funny that the DOJ could put the list of people that have been accused of nothing in their indictment, but we still haven't seen the Epstein list.
Also correct. Yeah, funny they have resources for this, huh?
Yeah. Matt wanting, that was from K Dolo, from Stephen Cooper. Matt getting a hit piece is like Pinocchio wanting to be a real boy.
Please, I'm begging for it. I'll do anything. It's such a meme at this point that I kind of like the bit. I like the disrespect of having my face front and center in the article, but my name not mentioned until halfway down it. It's just funny, like I don't take that as discouragement. I think longtime listener of the show, I saw him on Twitter saying like, we have to investigate if Matt has been shadow banned from hit pieces. It really feels that way. It's like everybody gets their turn, but not me.
Yeah.
It's like there's an agreement among all journalists that he will never be smeared alongside his peers. Why?
Yeah.
I deserve it. What do I have to say? I don't listen to what Putin tells me to do, but you, writer at the New York Times, or the Washington Post, or NBC, whoever you are, listen, you tell me what to say to get that article from you. I'll say it. You just send me an email. This isn't even like a financial arrangement thing. You just tell me, and I'm putting it out there.
By the way, that first one about you not getting the hit piece one day was from Logan. Oh, sorry, I forgot to
Thank you,
shout
Logan.
out, dude. The funny thing is, I watched that YouTube promotional video when it first came out for Tenet. I would say 90% of the comments, maybe 95, were all about you, and they're like, "Oh, Matt's on here. I might check it out." So it's kind of, and not to blow smoke, but it's like it's kind of insulting that you seem to draw a bit of interest, and they can't even, they can't even do a hit piece on you. It's just,
again, I don't have
rude at this
delusions
point.
about my own influence. I don't have ego about it.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
it's like, it's
Yeah.
not that. It's just, it's like, all right, I understand when people list like the most influential alternative media people online, that when you go 1 through 10, Matt Christiansen might not be a name that you hit. But in this case, where you're talking about a specific business with whom I am contracted, and there were 6 names and you put 4 on there, but not me. Why? What was the thought process where that author's like, all right, we're going to do Dave Rubin, who doesn't even do it anymore, and Tim Pool, and let's see, Lauren Southern, Benny John. That's enough. We don't need any more. By the way, Taylor Hansen was disrespected in the same way. Just complete the list of 6. You put my face in there in the middle. Just complete the list. Why? Okay. It's hilarious. Why? Was it an accident? Was it just coincidental?
Yeah, so there was others, because I'm like, hang on, they named everyone but you. How can it be others? Oh no, they didn't name Taylor either. So
yeah,
they
gave him the disrespect
so
too.
Technically there's 2. Yeah. From the Dashing Rogue, I don't know why this is related to anything. Thoughts on the Eurasian Economics Union? Do you think it's a good investment? Also, thoughts on the book, The Foundation of Geopolitics?
I think they're both excellent. Yeah, and I don't give financial advice for legal reasons, but it sounds, off. Just hypothetically, it sounds like an awesome thing to consider. Thank you, sir.
Okay. This one, there were a bunch of people in chat. I don't know if they were legitimate people or just kind of trolls. Kept trying to get you to go talk to other streams. Destiny was mentioned, which I'm like, I was watching. I'm like, I'm just going to shut up because I can't speak for you. But I'm like, he's probably not going to, because it's not what this is probably about, I'd imagine. So.
Okay. Are you going to read those chats, or are we just lumping them together? Are you talking about are these super chats or just like chats?
No, there's one super chat, but there were a bunch of people that were also saying this in the chat.
Yeah.
Normal. Well.
I don't think it would be appropriate for me to go to someone else's platform and discuss it. This is not disrespect to any particular person. I just think it's most appropriate for me to speak on my own behalf on my own platform and leave it there. And that's what I can offer. So that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah, but so Kira said, talk to anything else, which is the channel name. They have 11K viewers, so.
Yeah, for now, and I'm not saying never, like I'll never talk about this, but for now, I'm just going to offer my thoughts on my own platforms and operate that way.
The Dashing Rogue, Lauren, hang on, sorry, I probably should read this first. I might skip the first half of this, Dashing Rogue.
Yeah, I got this.
Thoughts on ethics of dating someone working within disclosure? That's a fairly general question.
I don't think this is like I don't think this is smearing to them or anything like that. It's probably not something I would do. I don't know. I guess we've talked. I mean, to be honest, there are tasks for my business that my wife could do, and we've thought about maybe having her do some of those things. So I guess I shouldn't say I wouldn't consider it, because I have. Right now she doesn't, at least anything meaningful in any formal sense. In general, I do think that personal relationships do mess up workplaces. This is not me saying anything about their management or how they operate. It's just my own principle. I would probably avoid it to the extent that I can. I don't think that it's wrong. And it wasn't like in this situation, it's not like it's a secret. It's not like there's some personal relationship that was withheld and not openly known to everybody. So if there's any ethical angle about deception or something like that, that was off the table. But I just think the potential considerations about it are like, if there's something poisoning work, it necessarily poisons the home. I think that's unfortunate. The best part about my wife is that it's not the best part, but of course my wife is not caught up in all this stuff. So my wife is an anchor for me and a support structure for me. And if she was similarly caught up in all my business affairs, it would be a source of stress for her and potentially a source of stress between us and maybe destructive in that way. So I tend to say it should be avoided, but I understand realities are different for different people. And I've considered it because of realities. I need work done, and here's the person to do it. I just haven't gone down that route formally.
Yeah. Renegade Chungus, here's 175 rubles for condoms for prison.
Dang.
Lovely.
I get prison protection in that way. Oh, that's nice. I guess I'm going to need it.
Love Nafo. Okay. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know.
Smegma Bukaki 69. I think this is actually valid evidence that he's presenting here. I have a letter signed by 50 former CIA operatives confirming that Matt has all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation.
Yeah,
True story.
I won't be surprised if that comes out tomorrow. You know, John Brennan and James Clapper and all of them, they say that my channel has all the hallmarks, just like the Russian laptop or the Hunter laptop story did of Russian disinformation. Yeah, the same thing.
And it is why people probably should be skeptical on this, is because they literally said that. And they've been coming out recently saying, yeah, that was a political move. It was all bullshit. So.
Yeah. Same sort of people, by the way.
Okay. Here we go. Another one. Glass pot full. Destiny is live right now with 10K viewers and wants to chat.
I'm just not going to, it's not anything against Destiny in particular. I'm just not doing that with external people right now for the moment. Again, things could change in the future, but I'm just going to stick to my channel and my platforms for now. Did we get Josiah? I don't want to miss that one.
I'm not seeing it. Oh, hang on. I've read the. Oh no, sorry. Yes, I did miss that one. Josiah, thank you. I've read the indictment. The only person they have record of posting something at the request of the investors is Founder 1 and Founder 2.
Okay, so that would be Lauren and Liam named in the indictment, posting at the request of. So that would be, yeah, what was posted. And
well, that's the thing. I mean, just because they posted something doesn't mean it's anything bad.
Yeah, we don't know. So. And what if it's, who knows? Again, they are not the mouthpieces that were hired for this project, that were contracted, you know? So if the whole aim was to advance certain perspectives, and the people they chose to speak those perspectives had no knowledge of it and were never given any clear direction to say those perspectives, what is the influence? There was zero influence ever exerted on me personally. I will tell you that 100%. I can't speak for everybody else's experience. And I see there's a question ahead about like what the day-to-day operation was like. So maybe I'll save that for a second. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know what Tim Pool's team or Benny Johnson's team or anybody else's team, what their relationship was like, because I only had mine. But mine was not that at all.
You actually just said something that didn't even occur to me. I feel stupid. The people that are most implicated in this are the two people that didn't really say anything. I don't think they've ever.
No, I don't think they've ever
publicly talked regarding Tenet.
I don't know that they've ever said anything about Tenet themselves. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they said something through the Twitter account or something. But as far as I'm aware, they've really never spoken about it.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes even less sense. It's like these people don't even talk. So what? Anyway, let's move on. JVL90. Okay, same theme. Don't join Destiny's chat. That guy danced on the grave of Trump's shooting victim and still hasn't had decency to publicly flog himself in penance.
That was a rough episode. Yeah. I'm not here to prosecute Destiny, but yeah, I remember that.
From Nihor, Israel does this exact thing with dozens, if not hundreds, of media personalities. What a double standard.
I'm sure. I mean, the idea that this is, again, I'm not saying that this is inherently justified. I don't know the particulars. We'll have to see what evidence is presented, all of that. But the idea that this is something that is unique, never happens in any other way. This is like some unique influence. Okay. If you don't think that our country is doing similar things to meddle in other countries, or if you don't think that there are foreign interests influencing and lobbying for X, Y, and Z, just things that happen to work in favor of Democrat interests, I don't know what to tell you. Again, that's not me saying this is inherently justified. It's just like, why is something like this chosen? And my answer is that there are political considerations in that. That's my opinion. I'm not making a statement of fact. It's just my opinion. And until they go after people of perspectives otherwise, then I'm going to hold that opinion.
Shout out Blonde's in the chat.
Well, thank you, Blonde, for stopping by. And as I mentioned, I want to thank Blonde for her personal support. It's been a big encouragement today. And of course, she and I will probably discuss this more on Sunday.
So from Laurel, hey Laurel, long-time listener of the show. My question is, why does the Russian government not cut me a $10 million check to publish content I would publish anyway?
I know. Yeah. I'm sorry, Laurel. I guess the opportunity, you missed it when it was hot. But But perhaps there will be another one. I hope you are doing well on the homestead. And thanks for tuning in.
Liz, thank you for your legal defense fund. You're about to get dry docked by the feds. I don't know what a lot of these terms mean. I'm very worried.
I actually don't know what dry docked is. So, but I can gather from context it's not pleasant, and I don't want anything to do with it. But yeah, I mean, do I have reason to believe that I have any legal implication? No. Do I think that I did anything wrong? No, there's no evidence I did anything wrong, and there won't be because I didn't do anything wrong. So I'm not nervous in that way. If you believe this is a political op, and I at least halfway do, even if I want to entertain the legitimacy of the allegations, again, why is this chosen? Why are resources devoted to this? If I believe there are political motivations in play, well, then I have to be a little worried because this is the sort of thing where if they want to get you, they find a way. And I don't know how they're going to get me because I don't live my life in a crooked way. So if the feds decide they want to come after me, okay, you're going to find a lot of nothing, but good luck. They have their ways though. So we'll find out.
I really don't want to be blackpilled, but yeah, you could say that about Trump though, and they've charged him.
Yes. I mean,
New York case. Do we even know what he's actually been charged with?
Nobody can explain the New York case. Not even the prosecutors can explain it. Not even the judge can explain it.
Yeah, I don't want to be blackpilled, but it seems like these days they're just like, oh, we don't need a crime, we're just whatever. So
yeah.
So from Slosher. Oh, I don't know if you have a suit. I don't know if you're doing the sounder for. And
no, I don't have them open. But thank you for your support, Slosher. And by the way, thank you to Cave Toad earlier because that was very generous of you too. I really appreciate it.
But yeah, anyway, from Slosher, Matt, long-time listener, congratulations on your hit piece.
Well, thanks for supporting the show, man. Thanks for sticking around. Of course, thank you for your generosity. I really appreciate it. We're gonna carry through one way or another.
So it's from Stu K, presumably the one you mentioned before. Could you explain the week-to-week typical interactions within Tenet? Are there recurring meetings? Do you send stuff for them to edit, etc.?
Yeah, I should have clarified that a little bit more in my discussion with Frank. Literally everything I make is 100% my product with one exception, and that's the thumbnails. There's someone at Tenet who helps me with thumbnails because I hate thumbnails. It was a meme before that I always had the exact same thumbnail. Yeah, that's true. I like consistency, and I don't like making thumbnails. That's why it was the way it was. But they want a different thumbnail presentation. Great, have at it. But there are no meetings. All right, I have never spoken with any of the other 6 about Tenet. With the exception of Taylor Hansen, with whom I've had some interaction. And we were together when we got our promotional photos taken. So that's how I met Taylor. But week to week, is there some meeting where we all gather around? No. On a weekly basis, the way it worked is this. I sit down to do my usual video on Tuesday, and I say, hey, I'm going to talk about this. So I'm going to need a thumbnail that shows this. And my thumbnail guy says, coming right up, and he does it, and then I post. I did the writing, the filming, the editing. Everything is 100% by me. Everything. I upload it myself to Tenet's platforms. Okay, they would do some of their own promotional, like they might cut clips and post it themselves, or they might cut clips and post it to Twitter. They did that, but as far as editing the core product or the stream itself, same thing. I would say on Wednesdays, hey, I'm going to talk about this. My guest is this person. I need a thumbnail that shows that. Coming right up. There it is. There was never any approval process. There was never any don't talk about that, talk about this instead. And everything I made, as you can tell looking at the videos, from what's on my channel to what's on theirs, you can tell it's done by the same person in the same style. And that's because it's all me. Everything about it is me. So it's not just that the words are mine. The entire presentation, from aesthetics to topic, all of it was my own direction. Every piece, except for the thumbnails. I don't do fancy pink graphics and stuff. That was not me. But everything else was. So that's the week-to-week typical interaction. Almost none. And those are the terms of the agreement. Hey, we like your material. We would like to host it. Would you be willing to work out an agreement to host it exclusively? Sure. And they've held up their end of the deal.
So that was Stu K. That was who we just read. So Swiftner, Matt. These are not warnings across the bow. These are opening moves in a high stakes contest, and the stakes are for keeps. You're in the trenches. The other crew, oh my goodness, the other side is not crewed by good faith actors. Hang in there, brother.
Well, thank you. As I mentioned, support from the audience is what keeps me from totally swallowing the black pill, because I know that it means the world to me that you guys are willing to hear me out, willing to support the product, willing to follow me to wherever this leads, and I don't take that sort of support lightly. It means the world to me, and it gives me faith that I can make something of this if the worst happens, and I appreciate it. And I agree. This is rattling and concerning, and I do prepare myself for the idea that maybe this isn't even the extent of it. Maybe there are worse things coming. Well, I'll confront those when I get to them, and I appreciate your encouragement, your support in the meantime.
So Sport Nugget, how dare Putin spend money in support of the few influential voices in the most powerful country on the planet who don't spout murderous rhetoric against him and his people?
Yeah, was I selected specifically because I'm not bloodthirsty against Russia? Is that why? And it's not even like people who listen to me, how often do I talk about Ukraine and Russia? Almost never. From my perspective, it's not our war, and my concern is that my country is not fleeced in pursuit of it. That's it. As far as the particulars about who's right in the conflict, I couldn't tell you a damn thing about who holds the right to certain territory or who was the aggressor in context A, B, and C. I just know that it's not my country's fight, and I don't want my country fleeced in support of it on either side. That's it. That's the only... If that's Russian propaganda, okay. So be it, I guess.
Well, I mean, one thing I have seen is people kind of saying, well, you're talking Russian talking points, and it's kind of...
What? What do I say that's a Russian talking point?
Well, that's the thing is not necessarily in terms of like the war or anything like that, just in terms of talking points Russia would like people to hear. But even then, it's like...
Maybe sometimes what Russia would like people to hear is the truth. Has anybody considered that? That like not everything they believe is false. Maybe that partly regardless of whatever perspective you're considering, if you're talking about true things, there's going to be overlap with all sorts of people, Hitler included.
Yeah.
Hitler probably would say, hey, I watched that video and it was quite reasonable, even though it had nothing to do with the annexation of Poland.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point I'm making, is just because you have talking points that line up and coincide with Russia, it doesn't mean that you were told by Russia to say them.
Of course, or that I was hired for that reason.
It's a stupid leap.
Putin's like, man, this guy has great takes on constitutional philosophy. I'm a big fan of the American founding, so I want... Not that listen, you don't have to love my takes on the founding or whatever. That's not my point. I'm just saying that the idea that I was scooped up for some unique Russian appreciation is laughable. Clearly not the case. I don't know shit about Russia, and I don't care. I also don't know shit about Ukraine, and I don't care, because they're not my countries.
So next one from Nanya Bidness. Sorry this isn't in rubles, but still, hope this money finds you well in these strange times. Have been watching a long time. Wish you the best of luck.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that, and thanks for your support.
The Life and Times. Hey, Matt, I'm building a peer-to-peer crowdfunding platform and know a bunch of people building censorship-resistant technology. We should talk. I'll get Blonde to connect us.
Yeah, or just send me an email. I'm accessible. For anybody who's listening, one of the things I pride myself on, too, is being accessible to people. You're always welcome to send me an email and pass along stories, thoughts. If you tell me, fuck you, I hate you, sometimes I'll respond in kind, or sometimes I won't. But if you've got information to pass along to me, I'm not hard to contact. And so you're welcome to do that anytime. And I appreciate your thought in that. And Godspeed in your in building your product. It sounds like something really interesting. So I'd like to hear about it.
Yeah, so Life and Times Matt at mattchristiansenmedia.com or mattchristiansenmedia.com/contact.
Or mattis.k, don't forget.
Oh, yeah, there's that too.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot we're not on Tenet. I probably can say that.
Mattis.k. That's a real that's my real website if you want to find it.
And it does actually redirect, guys. Give it a try.
Mattis.k.
Tech 2 sent a bit on your website as well. Just want to do what I can to support you as you support as you go through this. One of the very few good faith personalities. Thank you for all that you do.
Well, thank you, man. That is a huge it's huge praise. Stuff like that kind of puts me at a loss for words, to be honest. It kind of gets me emotional, actually, just because it's not. Yeah, I care about persuading people. I think our country is at risk. I think it's falling to bad ideas, bad influence. You can call that ironic, given the circumstances here, or whatever you want. I care about our country, and I think that the pursuit of a certain set of ideas and ideals will help us fix it. But perhaps even beyond that, I care about anybody who listens to me, whether they agree with me or not, believing and knowing that I'm giving them my honest to God opinion and my honest to God analysis and assessment of the facts, and that it is not someone else puppeting me behind the scene, telling me to do this and that. And that's why I care so much about this one, man. Like, I can't tell you whether everything in that indictment is factually true or false because it's outside my day-to-day operation. But to the extent that it implies that I have someone telling me to say things, I can't have that. And it's not true. And so I'll do everything I can to combat that. And if you're a person for whatever reason whose belief in me has been shattered, or you're questioning it after this, I'll earn it back. I'm going to keep doing what I do. I'm going to give you my honest to God opinion every single piece that I upload or stream, and I won't quit. So if you've lost trust in me, fair enough. You have my full intent to earn it back, and I will.
It is interesting to see the people kind of going, oh, my favorite was Benny Johnson, where they said the Russian plant or disinformation specialist, whatever they said. He was linking a CNN clip. It didn't even make sense. It was like, wait, what are you talking about?
I was told by a listener that you were part of that Twitter interaction. Apparently my face was used in some CBS News piece. I got to find that.
It's a guy that's often on another stream that I watch. I'll reach out to him, see if he.
Yeah, I would love to find that. If you happen to come across it, send it my way, obviously.
Yeah, I'll go looking for it, see if I can find it. But yeah. Anyway, another one from Slosher, Russian Gate 2, Electric Jigaboo.
You can't say the J word. This is a respectable stream.
Oh, is that one I can't?
That's a slur. Don't you remember?
I don't know all the slurs. I know a lot of them offhand. That's a slur.
You can't say the J word. No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and Joe Biden did recently come out and do the thing of, Russians are going to be interfering again. We're going to be cracking down on.
Yeah.
So that's probably what happened.
I think Frank asked the right question. How long have they known about this suspicion or allegation, and why do they drop it now?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I can tell. I can say why they dropped it now, because there's not enough time, unless they drop the case, which they're not going to do, but there's not enough time to really prosecute and go through all the thing and find out if it's bullshit or not. So yeah. Jay Brits, hang in there. Hang in there, comrade. You guys really aren't helping. Hang in there, comrade. Frank sent me. Love the show.
Well, thanks. I'm honored to have you from Frank, because Frank is a good dude. Speaking of trustworthy people you can count on, Frank is that guy, and it's been my pleasure to be his friend through our professional association and beyond.
From original Naxter. Haven't tuned in for a while, but I felt you might need some support in these crazy times. I exchanged the rubles for Swedish currency, so there's no paper trail. Das vid Naya, comrade.
Thank you for working through your shell companies. I appreciate it.
Throwing 204. I don't trust the DOJ as far as I can throw them. You'll have my support until they provide 2 smoking guns, 3 confessions, and half a dozen video proofs. I'm not buying it 72 hours after Tim sued the Kamala team. LOL. There's
that piece of it too, and I'll let Tim speak to that because I don't have knowledge of his suit and what all that entails. But yeah, I mean, if you believe in significance of the sequence of events or timing, yeah, there's that going
on. Stefan, Mikado said apparently Mikado's a streamer that's watching kind of live. So
okay.
Mikado says LOL.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Enjoy your laugh, Mercado.
I don't know if that's him laughing at the situation or at you or what. I don't know. But anyway, Polaris 9009. There's no intro today because of my comment the other week where I thought producer Tim and Chris Gard were the same person. Yeah, because you're a racist. I'll go back to the corner now, Shane.
I one of the thing I loved the most about my Wednesday show was probably that intro, man. Chris really killed it with that. I love that intro. And I don't know what the future is. I'll be bummed if I don't have use for that intro anymore, but maybe I'll go back and have Chris make another one. He really deserves it.
Yeah, the really funny thing with that is there's been a couple of times where I've had to do the timestamps and I've been a little bit short on time, so I'll speed it up. It's really quite good at a quicker rate. Like it's good as is, but there's a different vibe to it once you speed it up a bit.
He's incredibly talented, and I really appreciate him.
Yeah. Polaris 9009. Oh, no, sorry, that's the one I just read. Plume Logan. Matt, how many rubles to get the call-in show back? 10 million, I'm guessing.
We could bring calls back. To be completely candid on that, the reason I kind of always wanted to bring calls into that Wednesday production, the reason I haven't is just because the tech that I work with, there's not really an easy dump button. And it's not that I'm looking to like ban certain discussions or something. As the call-in show demonstrated, I'm open to pretty much anything. I just didn't think that it was fair to Tenet to have somebody potentially drop in and just be like, I'm going to nuke this whole thing by screaming the N-word. And so there was never a system that I could develop where I had the ability to drop that without putting them on the hook. If it was my own channel, or if I do something, maybe I can go to Rumble where I'm a little safer from YouTube. I don't, again, I'll have to make decisions about what the future holds, but if I have to do something else or make something else, I know the call-in show is kind of a joke because it's off the wall and it's kooky and all that, but there were some real conversations with our audience that I miss and I think are valuable, and I would like to recreate that in some way. This is not my promise to do it because, again, I have so many things to consider. But I mean, there are pieces of that I miss for sure, and maybe I can work in.
Okay, next one from Actual Justice Warrior, obviously a guest from a couple of months ago.
Has he come clean about the instructions he received? Because he came on to talk about Tiffany Henyard. I gave him his Putin instructions about what exactly he was supposed to say about Tiffany Henyard, the super mayor in Illinois.
Now, he brings up an interesting point from the indictment. I know it's not alleged that you knew anything, but how come they spent $318K on an iPhone 15 Pro Max with only 512 megabyte? They couldn't get the 1 terabyte? I hope the LC, Lauren Chen presumably, stuff isn't true. She's been great to me.
I didn't get to read the indictment in the level of detail that I got to that, so I'll take your word. Actually, let me look, because I'm sure Actual Justice Warrior Sean is very detailed, and that's why I brought him on to talk about that Tiffany Henyard case, because it's like I don't have time to look into all of this, and I know that Sean has looked at everything there is to look at, so I should have him tell me.
I did see an excerpt that was on Twitter. I didn't really pay attention to what, because it was apparently in, how when you do bank transfers, you can put a little note in for what it's for. I didn't pay attention to whether it was directly the transfer to Lauren or whether it was between the shell companies that apparently
He's right, though. There it is. The shell entity wired $318,000 for buying goods in iPhone 15 Pro Max 512 gig. He said megabytes. It was gigabyte, Sean. It wasn't megabyte. But I'll take your point. Come on, Sean. They didn't do the gig. Yeah.
Did they actually say that the final payment reached Lauren though, or because if that's between shell companies, then what does that have to do with Lauren?
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you on that. It's outside my area of knowledge.
Anyway, Tim Delvecchio. Sorry if I've mispronounced that.
Delvecchio.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he's a pretty regular chatter, isn't he?
I'm ashamed to admit the reason I think that's the name is because isn't that Pauly D's name? Isn't it Paul Delvecchio from Jersey Shore?
Dude, I've never watched Jersey Shore.
Well, your life is probably better for it, but I've seen a lot.
In fact, I'm kind of disappointed in you that you've seen it.
Oh, as I've mentioned many times, my wife and I appreciate trash TV.
That's true.
Jersey Shore has been a part of that.
And I assume that would provide a lot of the cringe that you like as well. So
Yeah, I mean, it has its moments, you know.
fair
Now that
enough.
they're old, like the latest rehashes of it that they tried where they're all old and it's not as good, you know. But the glory days of Jersey Shore are worth watching, man. I had a good time.
Fair enough. Yeah, Tim Del Vecchio. Matt is like the professor and Marianne from Gilligan's Island and the rest. Chin up, Matt. We trust you.
Well, lucky for you, I don't know that reference. It's not a movie; it's a TV show. But I haven't watched a minute of Gilligan's Island in my life, so I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it's exactly the same situation. They list off a few characters and they go, and the rest. They obviously ran out of time and they're like, who cares?
That's it. So she's a character who doesn't count, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Asterath the Grim. It's time to come back to the fold, brother.
Well, it's I don't know what it's time for, but I'm going to find out what it's time for in the coming days, and I'll make announcements as soon as I've made decisions. But I appreciate your support, man, very much.
Okay. Next one from Richard. No one watches cable news. The establishment wants to cut down on free thinkers and people who openly call them out. Their platforms can't beat yours and others, so their option now is to try and smear and censor. Simple as.
I think there's a lot of that to this. You know, as far as the facts of the allegations, outside my area of knowledge, but I've seen the way the DOJ operates for many years now, and I have a hard time taking anything they say at face value.
Yeah. Speaking of the media, have you seen that Brian Stelter's going back to CNN?
Yeah, maybe I could get on reliable sources. Maybe that's my next career.
There you go. Next one from Slosher. Slosher, my goodness, you're giving me a lot today. Thank you. Matt, you have built up your audience over almost a decade. You will get through. The mill of God grinds slowly, yet it grinds exceedingly fine. You have put in the hard work and have a solid audience/foundation.
Well, thank you, man. You've been a big part of that yourself. And like I said, I just hugely appreciate everybody who's got me to the point that I am. And those people give me faith that I'll get to whatever the next point I'm supposed to get to. And I appreciate you helping me out along the way on behalf of my business and my family and everybody involved. So thank you, Slosher.
I say the last one from Swift. No, I'm going to have to reload because I assume there's probably more.
There are a few more,
The invitation to sit down for an interview as a theoretical, quote, victim is a trap. Most probably, yeah. Retain legal counsel. The invitation, again in quotes, is not on the level. Your protection or remedy of injustice is not in the cards.
Yeah, I'll trust me. I'll tread carefully. I don't know what I'm going to do, but this is again a day of accomplishment. I've never had the feds email me wanting to inquire about what I do for a living. This is new territory, but obviously I'm just gonna be careful. I'll give you that. I'll give you that as my word.
One of the chatters, a guy or girl, I suppose, by the name of DeWalt, suggested this. Tell the FBI you'll agree to talk to them if you can live stream the interview.
yeah, maybe that's a fair compromise. I might consider that.
That seems reasonable because it's like if you're not doing anything untowards as the FBI, then you wouldn't have a problem with, you know.
And I'll give you guys the super chat. I'm sure my audience has a lot of questions for you.
Okay, so I've just reloaded YouTube, but I'll go back to Rumble because a few more I've added. Where did we leave
while you find them, I'll continue on YouTube here. Solid number 5. I've been watching you since the Omegle days. Omegle RIP. It's not even around anymore. I don't see how people are calling you a traitor to your audience. Your political related videos haven't changed. Only upload location changed. Well, thank you. Yeah, and that's my perspective too. If anyone thinks that I've suddenly changed the way I operate, I invite the evidence, compare what I used to make to what I make now, and show me what the drastic change is, because that's news to me if you think you got it. Evan Schultz says, so Russia secretly paid you without your knowledge to advance their agenda, which they did not inform you of. Man, they suck at soft power. Yes, that is the allegation. Yeah. That's exactly it. It sounds preposterous, but that is exactly it. Zach Ingram says, sorry, what was that?
I got Rumble back up.
Okay, let me just read this one. Zach Ingram says, hey man, you should totally switch to vodka Sunday night. It'd be hilarious. Remember this for a Halloween show. You know, thank you, Zach, for that, for the thoughts. Because I don't have I was thinking about that the other day. Man, Halloween's coming up, and I haven't thought about my costume. What am I going to do? We always like to have fun on the Halloween show, on the Matt and Blonde show, and I don't have a clear costume idea yet. So this creates some opportunity. You're right. Thank you, Zach.
And just to reference what Evan said, I'm pretty sure that's literally what they've said in the indictment. Is basically the people that were working under Lauren and Liam, regardless of whether Lauren and Liam did any wrong, let's put that aside. The indictment literally says that something along the lines of they were duped or they were deceived in the sort of thing.
Well, it's
So,
alleging that they deceived others.
yeah.
So unclear, unclear what their level of involvement was. Again, I don't have any personal experience to say that they did anything wrong. They've never been anything but kind, honest, and reliable with me. So that's all I can offer.
But yeah, just along what Evan said, it's pretty accurate. It seems like the indictment's actually saying they were not passing on information telling, the hosts what to say.
No,
so
there's no
like,
evidence of that.
It doesn't make sense.
Literally never happened. Yeah.
Anyway, so back over at Rumble, Shadow Band 420. Have you thought about doing a third weekly show covering non-political stuff? I assume it would just be too much work knowing how much you have to do to put
I don't know
together
what we do,
what
like
you have.
entertainment or culture or something. I don't know. I love talking this stuff, so I wouldn't expect the topic to change. But I'm open to new ideas. It's a new opportunity.
Long Gone John. Is Tim going to jail for undue foreign influence? Oh, I don't know.
There's
maybe.
always been an Australian conspiracy on this show. Yeah.
Yeah. What about your Australian super chatters?
Yeah, good question. We don't know. But there's a lot of Aussie influence on my streams. And people ought to investigate, I'd say. We have no idea who's really behind them.
Well, the really funny thing is because of the time difference, it's on in the middle of the day. So it's like, if you really pushed it, you could say, well, this is why these people don't have to be at work. It's because they're getting paid by Russia. So anyway, GR Token. Matt, thank you for the financial advice that you were completely liable for. I put all my money in silver and gold like you demanded I do. I'm sure I'll be a billionaire like you promised me. Good night.
Thank you. Well, remember me if you strike it rich. I'll need some opportunities. So thank you, man. Tim, how are you on time, by the way? I know that bottom of the hour was kind of...
I'm fine. I got a lot of time up my sleeve, dude. I'm fine. Russia, disconnected bad guys, Ukraine, CIA laundromat.
Yeah, of course. Yes, I'm sure Russia's the only one having mismanaging or doing shady things with money involving the United States of America. I'm sure there's none of that going on with Ukraine in any way at all. Totally clean.
Sorry, that was 925 Wild G, I think. Sorry, I didn't shout out. Thank you. And one more from GR. Blonde is the biggest YouTube ass kisser ever. Why don't you bring your leftist black-pilled ass to Rumble and chat with us?
Yeah, why is she on YouTube? I think she has some chats in here. We'll have to get to them. Blonde, a leftist black-pilled person. I mean, I call Blonde a lot of things, but leftist. That's an interesting accusation.
Yeah. I'm not even sure what that would be. I mean, maybe just because she's skeptical of Trump at the moment or something. I don't know. He might just be making fun, admittedly. So
yeah, we'll leave it to GR. All right. Looks like we just have a few more on YouTube, and I hate to, I appreciate everybody so much. I'm going to read all of these, but time considered, Tim, we probably have to move a little bit here, just because I'd like to be home at the top of the hour and just consult with my family a little bit.
Fair enough. I'll try to shut up.
I appreciate everybody, by the way. I'm not trying to gloss over anybody's chat. It's just time and family realities are what they are.
So Mo Howard, Communicator 6 and Ping 2, new Wednesday show idea.
Yeah, it's a good title if we need one. Yeah, thank you, Mo. Appreciate it.
Blast Beat Apologist, keep up the great work.
Thank you for keeping me operational. Appreciate it very much.
Box David, I never read chat, but today has been a joy to read. You really live rent-free in the minds of these unhinged leftists, and it's hilarious to watch them shout into the void.
Hey, okay, if they want to think that I'm some evil compromised person, that's fine. I don't know if there's a lot of that going on or not, but all right. I don't know why some evil compromised person would fire up a stream and talk about this openly, but I guess that's part of the op.
We got a couple from Jonathan Precios. Firstly, look into Compound Censored Media. Gavin McInnes will pick you up if you need a platform and some cash.
Maybe. Again, I don't know what's going to happen here. So if I have to shop myself, I will. And not that I'm disputing your point, but this is about whatever the financial realities are. This is about me proving myself. And so I'm never going to go to somebody and be like, please, I'm desperate. I need you to do this for me. No, man. It's about what I can provide for you and a product that I think can bring you attention and quality viewership, and it's about being an asset to somebody. So whatever my own personal financial situation is, again, I'm not such an idiot that I would like bankrupt my family for foolish reasons or something. But obviously, this has financial implications I have to navigate. But if there are difficulties that have to be crossed, that will be what it is. Let me prove to you that I'm valuable. Let me show myself to be a valuable asset for you. It's not like, please bail me out. I made poor decisions and I'm desperate now. It won't be that. I don't do that. Hard work will be the selling point.
Anyway, back to next one from Jonathan Prezios. Please bring back the call-in show as I missed out on it. Also, I mentioned Gavin's platform for you to join. It's already been tested and Gavin ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, I'll be considering what my option. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen. So as I consider what the future looks like, I will definitely keep it in mind.
Never heard this person. Blonde in the belly of the beast. What a ridiculous name. Are you eating borscht for dinner, you fuck?
I don't even know what that is.
I think it's a Russian dish.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sour soup. Eastern European and Northern Asia. So Russian, yeah. That sounds German to me, though. But I guess it's...
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I am if it's cheap. Potato, vodka, and borscht is that's my future dining option.
Anyway, Renix EOJ. Hey, Matt, first time, long time. The narrative trick that they will play is that you weren't duped to say things, but you were picked because of what you say. Be careful, good sir.
Yeah, again, like, what do I say that I would have been picked for? Like, I would love them to quote me on the things I say that are supposedly attractive to Putin or the Russian government or whatever. Please, I would love to hear it. I can't wait.
So next one from Renix was the one I just read. Laurel, if the deep state is coming after you, it means you're having an impact.
Well, thanks, Laurel. I just hope it means they aren't going to have an impact on me. Because who knows? I don't know. Who knows how this is going to play out?
Yeah, you don't want the sort of impact you get in jail, but anyway.
Yeah.
Quantum football. Is Michael... Okay, I've got to do this right. Lect.
Yes.
I hope that's long enough. That came out wrong. A Russian asset is the epitome of his Yarmul.
Famously mispronounced words in the history of my Sunday show. Yeah. I don't know if Michael Schlecht is implicated. I'll have to ask him. Anyway.
Yeah, for anyone that's new here, we know it's epitome and we know it's Yarmulke. So
yes, thank you for clarifying.
Jonathan Precios. This is different from Lisa. This is different from Lisa's son.
One of the topics I was going to talk about tonight was the Chinese, the parent Chinese spy for Kathy Hochul and Cuomo.
Yeah. As she was this was different from Lisa's son, as she was getting millions from China and in actual government, which, by the way, the left does seem to have a lot of people in actual government that turn out to be spies. And influential in politics, completely different than someone buying a media company.
Well, and to be fair, she was also indicted. So, if I'm going to be honest about my skepticism about the DOJ, which I will still maintain, she was indicted. She's criminally charged. So, yeah, okay, fair enough. I guess we're applying the rules there. But my suspicions remain.
Blonde sent the same message, but it's a different amount. So I think she meant to send two. Again, are you eating borscht for dinner, you fuck?
I think she probably sent that twice because she wasn't sure if we were doing the $10 roll tonight or not.
That's a good point.
Thank you,
didn't
Blonde.
Even think of that. Yeah. Blonde bombsheller for when the worst happens. I think
it's
that's
a hot dog. Is that for me to buy a hot dog, or is that because the hot dog is coming for me in federal prison? I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll have to wait and find out. Thank you, Blonde bombsheller. Not to be confused with Blonde in the Belly of the Beast.
Mo Howard, don't worry, Matt. I'm sure your Bible study will get syndicated.
I have my doubts about that. That's a very niche product, but I appreciate your endorsement of it. But yeah, I love doing the Bible study, and all that stuff matters even more to me in treacherous times like this. So every Friday night at 9 Eastern, we're still doing Bible study until they arrest Robert too.
Yeah. Stu K, appreciate your explanation about the day-to-day. Your anti-Monty Python and the Holy Grail propaganda is worse than your pro-Russian propaganda.
Monty Python sucks, and Putin did not tell me to say that. I think I give Monty Python a 2 though, or did I give it a 1? I hated Life of Brian more.
Yeah, I don't think you gave either a very high score.
I gave Life of Brian a 1.
And look, I love Monty Python, but I can understand it is not for everyone. It's never going to be. So. Oh, wow. Breaking news. Apparently Blonde is Russian, and so she can't vote anyway.
Well, Blonde doesn't vote. She's not going to vote on principle, you know?
Yeah, that's true. So that was Stu K just read. So Eric Charmella, long time no super chat. Make sure Blonde doesn't get blackpilled too hard from this.
Well, we'll talk about it on Sunday, and she's entitled to her own opinion, of course. I'll try to maintain my optimism. But thank you, Eric Charmella. I'm glad you can say that name on YouTube again. Remember, you couldn't say that because he was the whistleblower back in the day.
Yeah, that was
in the first Trump impeachment and the Ukraine phone call. He was the whistleblower, Eric Charmella.
Yeah, that is kind of the good thing about Elon Musk is it's not perfect, but you can say a lot more stuff that needs to be said on there. So, I don't know. Sorry.
Good attempt.
Sorry about the mispronunciation. I'm still here because you're still here. Fight, fight, fight.
Well, thank you, and I will continue to. And I'm still here because you're still here. So thank you for supporting the show, and obviously your support for it means I not only want to carry on, but it means I must. You know, I owe you guys. If you guys are gonna separate with your hard-earned dollars to try to keep me in the game, I'm in the game. Not just because I want to be for my own personal satisfaction, but because you guys are telling me you have to be, and I accept. That's why I'm here. So thank you guys. It means a lot to me, and I can't thank you enough. But I appreciate you.
So food. I just realized what this is going to be. Fukov. I think getting lawyer advice from Robert Barnes might be a good idea. He has a good amount of experience dealing with the feds and knows their tactics.
Yeah, I'm friendly with Robert. We're not, I don't know him super well, and I'm not, I won't talk about my specific strategy at this point. But I believe Robert's a good man, and I trust his intentions. So if Robert wants to talk to me, or if our paths cross, I'm definitely willing to hear him out. So thank you, Kov. Appreciate it.
And last one, maybe I have to reload.
I got a couple more. I'll read them though.
Danny Arndt Direct. You're exonerated by the indictment. We read it.
Well, my fear is I'm only as exonerated as the feds decide that I am. Am I confident that I did nothing wrong as a matter of the facts and the law? Yes, 100%. Am I confident that I did nothing wrong as far as a politically motivated DOJ who decides that I'm a target for whatever reason is concerned? No. So there's like a small fear in the back of my head that anytime you're getting emails from the feds, you have to be a little bit worried. But I would not expect them to, if I never get a hit piece, but they actually like kick down my door and shoot my dog on stream, I feel like I finally made it at that point. Yeah. Don't shoot my dog, by the way. He's an 11-year-old French bulldog who's barely alive anymore. Please, for the love of God, he's not physically capable of biting anyone. Don't shoot my dog.
There have been quite a few videos coming out of them showing up to people's houses, so it does seem like, Anyway, we got one more come through on Rumble. A generous one from Neon Necropolis 666. No note, just support. That's a note, dude.
Yeah, that is a note. How dare you? Thank you, man. Appreciate it very much. You're greatly appreciated. Thank you. And I'm a broken record. Thank you. I can't say any more than that. I'm humbled, and I appreciate you guys so much. And I just got a couple more on YouTube here. Mint20 says the Eye of Sauron is now upon you, Matt. Of course, they can't peg anything on you because you're an insufferable fence-sitting F-slur. Lol. I mean, I guess maybe the feds were like, all right, let's get this guy. Oh, crap. He's an insufferable fence-sitting F-slur. Move along. We don't have the resources for this. Don't even mention him. Just put him as commentator 6 deep down in there with an irrelevant point. Krista, the J Productions. Matt just tweeted you a picture of your hit piece on CBS. Could you email it to me? Not that I appreciate that, but it's hard for me to, Twitter mentions are kind of clumsy to try to find the exact thing. And of course, half my Twitter mentions are like a bunch of NPCs programmed by the DOJ to call me a Russian asset or something. So it's a lot to comb through. Just send me an email and I'll find it that way. Thank you, man. And I hope you're doing well. Let's see. There are a couple more here. Doug Blask says, starting the stream, but speak to the FBI with a lawyer. I don't know what my decision will be on that, but of course I will be careful. Thank you, Doug. Walsey says, not sure what's going on, but maybe you got the hit piece you desired. Kind of. It's more significant than just like some lefty journalist calling me a name, I would say. But I don't know. I also was not highlighted in the way that others were. All right. So that looks like everything, man. I think we're all caught up.
That's from my end. And I think Rumble, there was no more. Yeah, that looks like it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Tim, for your assistance, not just tonight with some extended duty, but for your assistance on my Wednesday night show. As I mentioned, I don't know what the future holds. Is this going to be the last time that Tim and I participate in this role together? I don't know. I hope that I have opportunity for Tim. Tim has been a huge asset for me. One of the things about the business reality being thrown into chaos is I just don't know what I'm going to be capable of doing or not doing. And so I hope Tim will be around in some capacity. But if not, if whatever happens, hey man, you were a huge help in me trying to build something that I think was worthwhile. You helped me get a lot of guests to talk about cool stuff that I wouldn't have done otherwise in my old arrangement on my old channel. And you were a big help to me in trying to do something new. And I really appreciate that you were able to, not only that, but you helped us build the call-in show and facilitate that. You've been a huge help to me and really my only kind of quasi-employee in my entire operation. So just, I know that, well, at least I hope that you feel thanked by me and appreciated by me, but I want you to know that and the audience to know that you've been a huge help to me, and it is my intent to find a place for you if you're willing to have it, but we're going to have to figure out how that all gets worked out.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel, the thankfulness, and I definitely feel the appreciation from you. And I do know that if there's anything in the future that has to be kind of downgraded or changed, it's not because you don't want to bring me along or bring me on board. It's just because you're going to be limited by what you can do and, stuff like that. So, which is fine.
Tim and I have been kind of thrown into a weird whirlwind together. And so we got to figure out how to navigate this. But when I got this opportunity, I came to you and said, listen, I have an opportunity to build something new. You've been a huge help in our call-in show, and I'd like to find something that you can do for me with what I'm trying to do now. And you were on board, and you've helped me out ever since, and I really appreciate that. Number one, you've been rock solid, reliable. Number one thing anybody can do is show up when you're supposed to show up, and Tim has never betrayed me in that way. He is always there when he says he's going to be there. And unfortunately, that's all too rare these days, but not for you, my friend. And I hope this is just a pause and not some sort of ending, but we'll figure it out. And of course, we'll be in touch. And I'm sure you're going to see Tim in my products. I'm sure he'll be lurking the chat regardless on Sunday or something like that.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm always in the chat on Sunday. Yeah.
So we'll figure it out, man. But thank you for your help, and we'll get through this together. Huge thanks to the audience, man. Again, not just for you giving me your time tonight to talk about this, but for your support for my product with super chats and your financial support. It's a huge encouragement to know that, like, whatever happens here, I have something I can try to build if it goes that way. And I don't know what way it's going, but I appreciate everybody so much. And of course, if anybody has anything they'd like to bring to my attention, send me an email. Head on over to the old website, mattis.gay. You can get in touch with me that way, and I'll see you then. But until now, until then, you can plan on me being, I don't know what's going to happen before Sunday. I have no idea. I'm going to sit down tomorrow and strategize. You can count on me being live on Sunday with Blonde at the normal time on my channel. I will commit to that. That's happening 100%, unless they raid my house and arrest me and shoot my dog. But if I'm here and nobody has messed with me, I'm doing that show. So I will see you then.
Sorry, just to interrupt before you go, and presumably if people need to know anything, website as always, I'm guessing.
Yeah, any information I get or announcements, I will tweet about them, but I'll post them on the homepage of my website as well. Again, mattis.gay. And I'll see you Sunday. Thanks for tuning in. Normally I like to have some fancy outro music or some showmanship to it. I got nothing. I don't have that stuff tonight. So anyway, you have my appreciation and thank you for tuning in tonight. And I will